I'm Richard and this is Calf Kingdom. Right, first things first, got to go and feed the cattle. So just now I'm feeding about, I think just over 40 between two fields just now, so I'll show you what that involves.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it.
Well, that was annoying. I just had the drone up there just now, showing you how I was feeding them with the shovel there, and the wind blew it off course, so I never caught any of. By the time I got over the fence and started shoveling it in the trough, it was already out of shot, so that was a failure. Right, go and feed the next lot.
Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it.
Right, just feeding these now. So basically, these ones are about 6-7 months old. These are younger than the ones that are across the braes there. They're nearer a year old, some of them over there. So they're getting roughly about 4 kilos a day. It's awkward sometimes try to feed them with a shovel, but it saves me having to fill bags. And they tidy up anything that's spilt, they tidy up quite well anyway.
So just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it.
I spoke about before, main enterprise going forward is going to be beef. So I've spoken about this in previous videos, but in case you didn't watch previous videos, so we were previously a dairy up until a few weeks ago, predominantly Ayrshire cows, and they are now all in calf to a Simmental. So that is what we're starting our herd with. So all these, apart from some of the Angus crosses that I've bought and put onto cows, everything is out of our own stock anyway, is Simmentals going forward. So I'm just up here checking the calves now, as I like to do every day, just to try and get them accustomed to me, because they have such a different temperament with their bottle fed, which is obviously what we're used to as a dairy. But as I spoke about before, because they're out of dairy cows, that means that they're only 50% beef instead of 75%. Now, you get a beef subsidy for calves if they're 75% or above, so you get just over £100 per calf from the government. But because these aren't 75% or above, I will not qualify for that this year. Now, say some of these Simmentals are heifers and they go on to have calves, the calves they have I would qualify for. It's a bit wet, so I'm hoping that it's not too smudged on the camera. But nah, some of the calves are looking well. Like obviously that's one of the older ones there. It's looking well, and the mums are looking well. That's the main thing. So I like to just come and check on them every day. But going forward, this is really what I want to push. Try and buy some young calves in on milk, and then feed them, and then obviously put them probably away as yearlings. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to finish them because I've not got a room if I want to hold more stock. So the plan is to buy some calves in, as well as obviously build a dairy herd, not a dairy herd, a beef herd, should I say. So that means that we'll end up having hopefully around about 100 cows, and also have obviously transform them into beef. So if I'm buying young calves, I'll keep the best heifers, put them into calf, and then eventually I will have 100% beef herd. but it's just going to take time, because kind of if you're buying beef cows and calves at foot, you're anywhere between £3,000 and £5,000. Although the price has dropped a little bit recently, it's too much for me to be able to go and say, look, there's £300,000, £400,000, £500,000 for 100 cows. So unfortunately, the dairy ones aren't as worth as much as the beef ones, and mine are hardly sublime by any means that I'm going to go and sell them at Carlisle. So this is what we thought was the best option. So hopefully you're going to stay along for the ride and see how we got on transitioning over to beef from dairy. There's a lot of tidying up in the farm to do in the coming months, but I'm passionate to keep this going on the YouTube, and hopefully it works out for me. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but I'm going to give it a good go this next 6 to 12 months and see what happens. Right, so we also have about 50 acres of barley in this year, just over 50 acres actually. Some of it better than others. We actually weren't actually that late in comparison to last year, but just where the weather broke this year. So there was anyone that was in early got a bit of moisture in it, and it's looking really well, whereas ours, as I say, it was in earlier than it was last year, some of it, and some of it's been hit really bad with the crows, just because we had that spell of weather for about a month or so that was just no rain. So the crows basically had a field day, and we probably were a little bit later than most people around about here as well, which puts it under more pressure from crows when everyone else is already through the ground. So as you've seen in the drone shots that I've got up there just now, some of it's looking better than others. There's 2 or 3 fields that are looking not too bad. This field here in particular isn't, well, both this field and the one just next door to it, actually, they were both tatties last year, so they were a little bit stonier this year, which wouldn't have helped. But also, as I said, these were the 2 fields that were actually done first, so I kind of hoped they would have been the best, but due to them being quite stony because of the tatties in them last year, and also obviously the dry weather, they've not done quite as well. We've got a field at Woodhead, and we've got a field over the back there that's looking slightly better. But you'd have seen when I was feeding the cattle right at the start of the video, there's a field just in between the grass field and where the cattle are. It was in probably pretty late, actually, to be honest with you. It was in late, and it's really looking poor. But it's amazing how quickly it's coming on with the little bit of moisture and the heat in the air. When it's humid and that, it does grow quickly. So it's just need to be sprayed for weeds again, and hopefully it'll come on quite well. But I am fully prepared that I might have to just cut it and bale it, or get it even grazed, that one over the field there, over the braes there. But I'm hoping not. But we'll just have to see how it goes. But it's looking a bit blanky, as bad as I've probably ever seen it, some of the fields, to be honest with you, but there's not a lot I can do about it. We had problems with our tractor after AdBlue getting mixed into the fuel, so I couldn't get ploughing, and things just dragged on, and obviously I'm myself now, so things just dragged on. Things happen. But hopefully we're in a better place, and come harvest time we've got a half decent crop, because I'm only growing it for myself, so there's not too much pressure. I've still got about 50 tonne in the shed for last year, so I've got plenty of barley, so might have some to sell. I'm trying to sell a load just now. I'm not sure how George is getting on with that, but it's about £180 a tonne just now, and probably when it comes back to harvest time it'll go back down to £140, £150. So if I can get rid of a load just now, if I don't need it, it's probably better just to do it now. Again, as you'd have seen with the drone footage, we've actually got, well, last year we only had 20 acres in of tatties, and that was the 2 fields there that I just showed you in the drone earlier on. It's George Mackey that's got them, who's just a local potato farmer, mostly seed potatoes I think he grows, but he's quite close by. So this year I think he was struggling to get, so I offered him an extra 20 acres, so we've actually got 40 acres in tatties this year. As you've seen in the drones, they're all close together. And also we used to rent a field just across there, which was just short of 10 acres. They've put in, just because of the lack of access to that field for us anyway, for the combine and stuff like that, they've put in tatties as well. So we're actually probably near 30 acres less this year for grass or barley, which the way the weather's gone and that, and lack of grass that I've got, is probably killing me at this time. But there'll be options next year. Hopefully I'm going to direct drill at least 20 acres. I'm hoping to direct drill as soon as the barley's off the fields. So I've got extra, and probably all these fields that are tatties this year will be barley next year. So a lot to do for next year, but just try to, obviously hoping to have a little bit more head of stock. Just now we're running at about 140, 150 cattle. So I'm looking to probably be, this time next year, be over 200. If not a little bit more. It's just whether I can afford to buy them, because that's one thing that I'll miss from the dairy enterprises, with a regular check. Whereas anyone you speak to about beef, like so those calves you've seen earlier on, So, like, well, as I say, if I'm selling them as yearlings, I've got to keep them for another 10, 11 months before I see returning them. Whereas I was getting a regular check with dairy. So cash flow will be a little bit of an education, I think, this year, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got time for this week. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.